Now, I didn't see it on the list of cities. They had the best and worst cities for vampires. And I would be lying if I told you I knew what their criteria was for that. But it is Halloween time. And so I guess, here's what they did. So they were looking for cities with a lot of blood centers, a lot of casket supply, funeral homes, things like that. And the worst cities would be places that get a lot of sun, places that have garlic festivals. So, a lot of good cities, a lot of bad cities. You know, if you don't get much, I have to think that Cleveland's probably a great city, Northeast Ohio in general, because we get so little sun. You know, everybody talks about Seattle being cloudy and rainy all the time. Nobody gets less sun than Northeast Ohio. New York turns out to be the best city for vampires. But Wooster, Ohio has their own vampire. And I was reading a story on her.
Oh, it's a lady vampire.
It's a lady. A woman named Helly Schweitzer is a vampire. And she said that she doesn't drink blood.
Okay. Strike one.
That
That's a big red flag if you say you're a vampire and you don't drink blood.
But that she's... but it's the weird thing, too, is that, you know, in vampire lore, if you were a vampire, you'd never want anyone to know that you were a vampire. You were hiding in the shadows. You were terrified of being discovered, ostracized, hurt, right?
Okay, so is she dead? Because that's a big thing with vampires.
No.
Okay, so that's strike two.
Nope. But in the age of Anne Rice and Twilight, you know, somehow vampires went from being monsters to being romantic. And coincidentally, what a shock, got way more popular. And so there are a lot of opportunities for people who are desperate for attention. And this is one way to do it. And it's harmless. Harmless. But it's usually a lot of people that, you know, again, I don't know anything about this woman. I don't know what she's got going for her. But, you know, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, there's nothing particularly unique about me. But this will really make me stand out. That I'm a vampire.
But it doesn't sound like she's a vampire. Sounds like she's just a person that wants...
Well, you can identify as whatever you want. But again, because the lore has changed so much, it used to be you couldn't be outside in the daytime. You had to drink blood. I was watching a thing on the History Channel or something last week about historical lore, and they had a guy who, in New Orleans, one of these kinds of people. Nothing really unique about the guy, so he is a vampire. And he has people coming by who willingly let him drink their blood. This guy does drink blood.
All right. I'll give... Then he's practicing. I appreciate him having the commitment.
But this guy says, well, I drink blood because I have to.
Yeah.
Because I'll die.
He's committed to the bit.
Right.
Drink the wrong blood, and then you'll die too. So it's really tricky.
Very, very tricky. There's probably a lot of vetting going on. So this girl out in Wooster, you know, she's wearing makeup, got some fangs, wears a lot of flowy sleeves and black capes. And, you know, so you're affecting a look. You know, this way you stand out. People will finally pay attention to you. And, you know, she's like everybody here.
Is she a BTG?
What is that?
Big titty goth.
I don't know about that. I didn't see that. Well, you wear a lot of flowy clothing, right. And, you know. Now, we all know people who are real Colin Robinsons.
BTGG.
People who are energy vampires, people who will talk your ear off.
Oh, my God. I saw
You know, I've often I've never asked him personally, but I've often wondered if Stripper Scott was an energy vampire. If he told me he identified as an energy vampire, I would absolutely take him at his word.
I saw what's the guy's name that plays Colin Robinson?
Mark Prosh?
Yeah, I saw on TikTok, somebody had the clips of him doing the yo-yo thing.
Go into the local affiliates and... Oh.
God, it's the best.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
Yep. So, Yeah, these people are, and this girl out in Worcester, and she seems nice and she's cute. She's late 20s. She said, not every vampire is bad. We're not all offering human sacrifices. This is what I'm saying. Back in the day, the lore was very specific. Very specific.
Don't look at BTGG, though.
Now, you can do whatever you want to do. Everybody's got their own take on it. The Atlanta Vampire Alliance, which is an actual organization, said that there are 5,000 people in the United States who identify as real vampires, probably anemic or porphyriacs or something like that, and some of them drink blood from willing donors. That's one of those guys that I saw on that show in New Orleans. But, in a place like New Orleans, too, you're awash in that kind of vibe. So it's only a matter of time for somebody, like Interview with a Vampire, all that crap. This girl in Worcester goes, I'm not interested in sucking anybody's blood.
What about anything else?
But like at what point?
What are you interested in sucking, lady?
But at what point do you say, all right, I've changed it so much that now it's like Halloween every day. You got to plant your flag in a couple things, right? I mean, if I put on a black cape and I filed my incisors down, I go, I'm a vampire.
Okay.
Like people can't go, no, you're not. You go, yeah, I am. Do you drink blood? No, but not all vampires do. Do you kill people? No, but not all vampires do. Mm-hmm. Like if you're a werewolf, people are going to want to see you get hairy when the moon's out. So she's like, everybody in town's really nice.
Identifying as a werewolf? Because I know people that identify like that. Like I live as a dog sometimes. I like doing dog stuff, pup play.
Yeah, I don't know. That's more of a kink thing, though, right? That's not like a thing you're walking around.
But it can bleed over into other parts of their life.
She said as she's walking around Wooster, some people might do a double take, but people have been nice to her.
Yeah, people would do more of a double take if she was black. Like
in Worcester?
Yeah.
Oh, is that a white town?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. So she said that she had found a community of vampires when she started posting on TikTok, and she felt very included.
If you could be
which at the end of the day is a great thing, but again, it's a great time for people who aren't really getting that much attention paid to them to come up with something that really has people paying attention.
All right, what are the classic monsters? You got werewolf, you got vampire, you got
mummy,
Frankenstein.
Yep.
Is that all? Is that the main ones?
I think so. Those are your big four.
If you're going to identify as a monster, which one are you going to identify as?
Oh, I would absolutely want to be a vampire.
You want to be a vampire?
Absolutely.
Oh, those dry
vampires are the best looking.
The dry cleaning bills, though, on those capes is going to start adding up, man.
Why?
You got to keep
on
them clean.
The capes?
Yeah. You're wearing a cape every day. Every day's cape day when you're a vampire.
Every day's cape.
You got to wear a cape.
But not according to this woman. I mean, she might, but,
according to her loosey-goosey rules.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
But we're adhering to a true vampire is wearing a cape every
the lore,
day.
Old,
you gotta
right.
be wearing a cape.
George Hamilton in the cape.
Rocking a cape. What's the point of being a vampire if you're not going to dress like a vampire?
Well, plus, I think you can get so far into it that everything kind of becomes psychosomatic. Like she goes, the sun makes me nauseous.
Yeah, I've been saying that for years.
Bill hates the outside.
Don't go outside.
Maybe you're a vampire.
No, I'm just
start telling people you're a vampire.
Guy. Poundcake, which monster are you going to be?
I said vampire.
Oh, you said vampire too?
Yeah.
No, but you're not really a vampire. You're just identifying as one.
I would identify as a vampire.
Okay.
That way, there's no expectations, really. I can do whatever.
Well, listen, I wish I was one of those people, as a stickler. I believe what I believe. I don't believe in any of that stuff. I wish I did. I'm not closed off to it. It's just there's zero evidence to support those beliefs. But I wish I was one of those people that saw magic everywhere.
I'd be
blah, blah, blah.
Frankenstein monster.
You'd be Frankenstein? Why would you be the monster? Or would you want to be the doctor?
I just want to be so tall.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I want to be tall. What if those be green?
But what if the bolts you'd want to be green? What if the bolts in the neck come loose though?
I got tools, so I'll tighten them back up.
Yeah, okay.
Also, those did not I'm not Mr. handyman, but those bolts didn't look like they were actually serving any real purpose on him. They looked
They're always pretty hinky.
right, like
They're just hanging there.
what part? Like what were they on his neck? Right,
Yeah.
or his head?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if they're in the side of the neck, what are they connecting?
I know.
Part A to part B? What?
Dumb.
No, anytime we'll be clicking on a vampire movie, Gwen will go, would you do that? I said, I would absolutely do that. Because everybody goes, you'd live forever and everybody you know would die. And I go, yeah, but I
New
wouldn't.
people.
So,
Yeah.
I meet
You
new
meet
people
new people.
all the time. I just wouldn't want to be an old vampire. Somebody got turned at like 65. Because you stay, you don't
Right.
want to be Kirsten Dunst where you're 9. You want that vampire sweet spot. And I think this girl might have hit it, 28.
Yeah.
That's a vampire sweet spot.
Yes.
Trouble is, when you say I'm a vampire, but you do age, you're going to have answers to those questions. People are going to go, wait a second, I was on board with you. I was one of the few people who supported you. And look at
Yeah,
you.
you are
You're
aging.
visibly older. They go, well, I don't know. But I'll leave that to her. But anyway, if you are a resident of Wooster, Ohio, it sounds like you've been very kind to this woman, and I think that's good. Because it's a big time of the year for her around Halloween. I got $1,000 here. Could be a big time of year for you. Grab a grand from the Buzzard bookie. Good luck.
This is your chance to bet with the Buzzard bookie and win $1,000 now. Enter this nationwide keyword at WMMS.com. Cash. That's cash. Enter it now at WMMS.com.
So nobody went for Mummy.
I mean, again,
It's
that's one of those things
constrictive,
where,
but
yeah, Mummy, and they gotta wearing the same. Like, I don't want to wear white every day.
what about the Mummy? You know, we think about the old Paramount Mummy or whatever, but what about because mummies, according to the lore, they were just, they were interred pharaohs, right? They were Egyptian gods or Aztecs or, whatever. That's what's underneath. If she can walk around in the daytime as a vampire, Mummy can walk around looking like the bald dude from the movie.
Yeah.
You go, this guy was a mummy, but we took all the bandages off. Turns out he's super hot and shredded. So you might want to give it a second thought, Coach.
Yeah, but I don't want to be beefing with Brendan Fraser like that.
Hey, Slick,
What's up?
how are you?
I'm fantastic. How about yourself?
What's going on?
I hate this show.
Thank you.
Hey, what's the difference then between a sorceress and a witch?
Well,
That's what
yeah,
we're
it's
debating.
I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me more like what you'd like to be referred to. Like, I never understood the difference between a wizard and a warlock.
Exactly.
Do you have an answer, or is it a rhetorical question, Slick?
No, it was a rhetorical question. I came to the Wizard of Knowledge, of course.
Well, that ain't me. I don't know. I think they're probably interchangeable. If you were to refer to someone as a sorceress, you could probably also refer to her as a witch.
I feel like a sorceress has got better skin than a witch. Like,
Oh, okay.
and they're like, witches are a little gamier. Like, a sorceress lives in a castle. A witch lives in like a shack in the woods.
All right. Puts children in the oven.
My wife has very fine skin. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go, Slick. I think we've come to the conclusion that a sorceress is smart enough to maintain a pretty good skincare regimen. How about
Yeah.
that?
Like
and,
Maleficent.
and a witch is just out there doing whatever.
Like, I think of Maleficent as a sorceress. But, like the Wicked Witch, she just
Yeah.
a witch. Doesn't have as much style. Not really showing off her curves.
All right, thank you, Slick. People are saying that the bolts were just a conduit for the cables to run the electricity and bring him to life.
Oh, well, then you could take those out.
But they couldn't just be in the skin. They
Yeah.
had to be connected to something on the inside.
It's almost like that wouldn't have actually worked.
Right. So
And why
when-
would you, like, okay.
When people say I'd want to be Frankenstein, when I said that, I wanted to be the doctor. Frankenstein's a monster, right? The doctor is Frankenstein. The monster doesn't have a name technically.
Frankenstein's monster. Yeah.
But if you're Frankenstein, you've got a medical degree. And that's pretty impressive.
I mean, just aesthetically, if I'm Frankenstein and I'm building this monster, I'm going to put the bolts in a place where they're not so noticeable. But maybe you needed him in the neck so they could get the brain going. I don't know. It just seems it's clunky.
Poundcake would want to be, not one of the original four, but Poundcake would want to be the Invisible Man.
Oh, absolutely.
If given the
He's such a
opportunity
perv,
to be
yeah.
invisible. Now, not intangible. You'd still bump into walls. But to be invisible,
No one would get no sleep. Man. You just hear. Like, what is that? Sounds like slapping.
I'm being haunted, and I don't know what it is.
It's just, I think we have a raccoon. There might
Off
be
in the
rats
distance.
wall.
It sounds like there's a masturbating raccoon.
Slapping sounds.
You would just be breaking into people's homes?
I don't have to break in. I'll walk in behind you. You wouldn't even know.
I feel like you'd feel that. Like, you can tell when someone's nearby. If you're that close to them, they'd know.
Especially, yeah.
They'd feel your
breathing and
heavy,
stuff.
oh, God,
Yeah.
your heavy breathing.
Also, with Poundcake, there'd still be glasses floating around.
No,
dirty ass-
that breaks the rules. Anything that touches you is invisible too.
No,
No,
man.
it's
That's
not.
not the rule.
That's the
No,
rule.
you never seen Invisible Man.
No.
Any
That's why
clothes-
when they have to take the bandages off, because
Yeah.
otherwise it's a coat and a hat walking
So if
around.
I have my contacts in, my contacts aren't invisible either?
Nope.
Nah.
They're clear. Best you could hope for is they be floating and somebody wouldn't notice.
Someone's going to poke my eye. Like, what is that? What is this a bubble? Someone blowing bubbles?
Yeah.
I don't like that. You guys got little stipulations with your
That's not.
powers.
We didn't set those stipulations.
Yeah,
That's,
I'm not Mary Shelley.
That is
H.G.
in-
Wells.
No,
I'm
y'all-
not.
Yeah, that's in the book. That's in the movies.
Yeah.
It's-
Y'all don't want me to thrive with my invisible
thrive.
power.
I got a letter from Brandy. She goes, Alan, you didn't play the best part of Strokin' yesterday. That we were playing Clarence Carter's Strokin', who is still alive, by the way. Clarence Carter is still alive. Blind since birth, but he did that big song, Strokin'. Huge hit for him in the mid-'80s. So I guess you could say I pulled out of the song too quickly, but Brandy likes a different part of Strokin'.
Now, when I start making love to my woman, I don't stop until I know she's satisfied. And I can always
Sexified.
tell when she gets satisfied. Because when she gets satisfied, she started calling my name. She said, Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter. Ooh, The other night, I was stroking my woman.
I love it.
And it got so good to her. You know what she told me? Let me tell you what she told me. She said, stroke it, Clarence Carter, but don't stroke so fast. If my stuff ain't tight enough, you can stick it up my...
Woo! Oh, man.
I be stroking.
Yeah, somebody's out there going, Cody Brown, Cody Brown, Cody Brown.
All right, I'm gonna start doing
Help
that.
for Brown.
I'm gonna start doing that at karaoke. Now I understand why my friend would do that.
Yeah, stroking to the left and stroking to the right. Clarence Carter, Clarence. Anyway, he's still alive. I'd like him to do an update to stroking.
Stroking too.
Yeah, stroking too.
Too hard or too fast.
Butt stiff, boogaloo. All right, let me break. You want to send a text, 35192. You can watch live, AlanCoxShow.com. Listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Your afternoon drive is brought to you by the Ken Ganley Auto Group, Ohio's #1 automotive retailer.
Hey, K.O.B.